Work toward a deal on border and immigration policy stalled in the Senate. Both Republicans and Democrats in Washington say they don't like the current deal being crafted. It's delaying the passage of President Biden's funding request for aid to Ukraine and Israel. And as Anna Wernicke shows us, Texans on Capitol Hill are caught up in the division amid the debate.
Texas Democrat Veronica Escobar says for decades, immigration reform has stalled in Congress.
It's been 37 years since there's been comprehensive immigration reform.
This week, Senate Republicans were hopeful the dry spell was over.
This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to secure our border.
Republicans are demanding tougher border security policies in exchange for their support for President Joe Biden's $106 billion supplemental funding request. That includes aid for Ukraine and Israel.
Republicans will not allow the supplemental appropriation to proceed unless there are satisfactory policy changes that are designed to stop or stem the flow of people across the border.
But Democrats say Republicans' demands are unreasonable and are accusing Republicans of holding emergency aid for Ukraine hostage.
And Hawaii Democrat Mazie Hirono says the Republicans' proposal would make the border crisis even worse.
Pitting vulnerable groups against each other, Ukrainians fighting an unjust invasion, and asylum seekers fleeing persecution is a recipe for bad policymaking.
Democrats tried to tack on citizenship for Dreamers to the Republicans' plan, but that was shot down.
This is not an immigration negotiation.
And with both sides not willing to budge, a border deal by Christmas seems more and more unlikely. In Washington, I'm Anna Wernicke.
Texas Congressman Chip Roy called on lawmakers to work until they reach a deal, even if they have to give up their holiday break. But he and other Republicans drew a line in the sand that underscores why an agreement is unlikely.
I want to be unequivocally clear to the Speaker of the House, to Republican leadership. If the word Ukraine is uttered on the floor of the House of Representatives before we have secured the border past H.R. 2 out of the Senate, with the president signing it with metrics attached, that is an utter fail by Republicans. I want to be completely clear. We must secure the border. There cannot be any equivocation about it. There cannot be any half measures.
On Friday, a federal appeals court ordered Texas to remove a buoy barrier in the Rio Grande installed to block migrants. A lower court had already ordered the removal. The state appealed to the New Orleans-based Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which temporarily blocked the order. But Friday's ruling from the Fifth Circuit upheld the order, saying the barrier violates federal law. Governor Abbott previously said the state would take the case all the way to the Supreme Court. Several House Republicans are continuing to push for the impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne spoke on the House floor, saying he should be removed due to his handling of the border.
As long as Secretary Mayorkas remains in office, our border will remain unsecured and vulnerable to human and drug trafficking.
Republicans backed off plans to force a House vote to impeach Mayorkas. A House committee, however, is moving forward with the impeachment process. Mayorkas was in Texas on Wednesday. He met with Border Patrol leaders in Uvalde. Those meetings were closed to the media. Families of the victims of the Uvalde school shooting could soon get more answers about police response the day a gunman killed 19 children and 2 educators. A Travis County judge sided with news organizations in their lawsuit for access to Texas Department of Public Safety records of that day. Tuesday's ruling means DPS has less than 20 days to release records of that day. DPS could still appeal to block this latest ruling. DPS has said before that releasing records could interfere with ongoing investigations into the shooting and the response. Thank you again for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle, and we'll be back next week to bring you an in-depth look at Texas politics.